Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prachodayat. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prachodayat. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prachodayat. Om Gam Ganeshaya Namah. Om Trayambagam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushti Vartanam Urvar Kamivar Subandana Nityo Shamamrita. Om Trayambagam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushti Vartanam Urvar Kamivar Subandana Nityo Shamamrita. Om Trayambagam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushti Vartanam Var Kamivar Pavandana Vidyo Shamamrita. Om Halrim Baglam Ki Hum Pak Swaha. Om Halrim Baglam Ki Hum Pak Swaha. Om Halrim Baglam Ki Hum Pak Swaha. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Para Brahmane Namah. Om Para Brahmane Namah. Om Para Brahmane Namah. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prachodayat. Namaste to everyone, Jai Mohanji. Today we'll be reading chapter 9 and chapter 10 of the Sai Sat Charitra. In chapter 9, we speak about the effect of compliance and non-compliance with Baba's orders at the time of taking leave. A few instances, expediency and its necessity, devotees' experience, and Baba being fed sumptuously. At the end of the last chapter, it was briefly stated that the Bhaktas who obeyed Baba's orders at the time of taking leave fared well, and those who disobeyed them suffered many a mishap. This statement will be amplified and illustrated with a few striking instances and by other matters dealt with in this chapter. Characteristics of Shirdi, a pilgrimage. One special peculiarity of Shirdi's pilgrimage was that none could leave Shirdi without Baba's permission, and if he did, he invited trouble. But if anyone was asked to quit Shirdi, he could stay there no longer. Baba gave certain suggestions or hints when devotees went to bid goodbye and take leave. These suggestions had to be followed. If they were not followed or were departed from, accidents were sure to befall them. We give below a few instances. Satya Koti Patel. Satya Koti was once going in a tonga to Kopragon Bazaar. He came in haste to the masjid, saluted Baba, and then said he would go to Kopragon Bazaar. Baba said, "Don't make haste. Stop a little. Forget the bazaar and don't go out of the village." On seeing his anxiousness to go, Baba asked him to take Sama with him. Not minding this direction, Satya Koti immediately drove off his tonga. One of the two horses, which cost 300 rupees, was very active and restless. After passing Swahili Vihir, it began to run harshly, got a sprain on its waist and fell down. Satya was not much hurt, but was reminded of Mother Sai's direction. On another occasion, while proceeding to Kalhor village, He disregarded Baba's direction and drove in a tonga, which met with a similar accident. European gentleman. One European gentleman of Mumbai once came to Shirdi with an introductory note from Nana Sahib Chandrakot, and with some objects in view. He was comfortably accommodated in a tent. He wanted to kneel before Baba and kiss his hand. Therefore, he tried thrice to step into the masjid, but Baba prevented him from doing so. He was asked to sit in the open courtyard below and take Baba's darshan from there. Not pleased with the reception he got, he wanted to leave Shirdi at once and came to bid goodbye. Baba asked him to go the next day and not to hurry. People also requested him to abide by Baba's instructions. Not listening to all of this, he left Shirdi in a tonga. The horses ran all right, but when Swahili was passed, a bicycle came in front. On seeing this, the horses were frightened and ran fast. The tonga turned topsy-turvy and the gentleman fell down, and he was dragged over some distance. He was immediately rescued but had to go and lie in Kapahor Bone Hospital for the treatment of his injury. Such experiences were legion, and people learned the lesson that those who disobeyed Baba's instructions met with accidents in one way or the other, and those who obeyed them were safe and happy. The necessity of mediancy. Now, to return to the question of mediancy, a question may arise in the minds of some that if Baba was such a great personage God manifest, why should he have taken the recourse to begging bowls throughout his life? This question may be considered and replied from two standpoints. Who are the people who have a right to live by the begging bowl? Our Shastras say that those persons who are getting rid of or becoming free from the three main desires that are prodigy, wealth, and fame, and accept sanya, are the fit persons to live by begging alms. They cannot make cooking arrangements and dine at their home. The duty of feeding them is laid on the shoulders of householders. Sai Baba was neither a householder nor a Vanyaprastha. He was a celibate sannyasi, that is, a sannyasi from boyhood. His firm conviction was that the universe was his home. He was the Lord Vasudeva, the supporter of the universe, and the imperishable Brahma. So he had the full right to take recourse to begging. Now, from the standpoint of Pachasuna, 5 sins and their atonement, we all know that in order to prepare foodstuff and meals, the householders have to go through 5 actions or processes. That is, kandani, pounding, peshani, grinding, udakumbi, washing up, marjani, sweeping and cleaning, and chudi, which is lighting earth. These processes involve destruction of a lot of small insects and creatures. Thus, householders incur in sin. In order to atone for his sins, our Shastras prescribe 6 kinds of sacrifices. Brahma Yajna, Veda Yahan, Pitar Yajna, Dev Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, Manushaya Adit Yajna. If these sacrifices enjoined by the Shastras are duly performed, the purification of their mind is effective, and this helps them to get knowledge and self-realization. Baba, in going from house to house, reminded the inmates of their sacred duty and fortune were the people who got the lesson of their home from Baba. Devotees' experiences. Now to return to the other more interesting subject. Lord Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 26, whosoever devotee offers to me a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water of the pure-hearted man, I accept that pious offering. In the case of Sai Baba, if a devotee intended really to offer anything to Sai Baba, and if he afterwards forgot to offer the same, Baba reminded him or his friends about the offering and made him bring it to him, and then accepted it and blessed the devotee. A few instances are given below. Tarkat's family, father and son. Mr. Ram Charandra Atman, alias Baba Sahib Sakir, formerly Paratna Samajit, was a staunch devotee of Sai Baba. His wife and son loved Baba equally, or perhaps more. It was once proposed that Master Tarkat should go on with his mother to Shirdi and spend the summer vacation. But the son was unwilling to go, so he thought in that case he left his home in Bandra. The worship of Sai Baba in the house would not be properly attended to, as his father, being a Pratana Samajit, would not care to worship Sai Baba's picture. However, on his father's giving an assurance under oath that he would perform the worship exactly as his son was doing, the mother and son left for Shirdi on Friday night. Next day, Saturday, Mr. Tarkat got up early, took his bath, and before proceeding with the puja, prostrated himself before the shrine and said, Baba, I am going to perform the puja exactly as my son has been doing. But please, let it not be a formal job. Saying so, he performed the puja and offered a few pieces of lump sugar as navidya. The sugar was distributed at lunchtime. That evening and next day, Sunday, everything went on well. The following Monday was a working day and it passed all so well. Mr. Tarkhan, who had never performed puja like this in all his life, felt great confidence within himself that everything was passing on quite satisfactorily, as per the promise given to the son. Next Tuesday, he performed the morning puja as usual and left for his work. Coming home at noon, he found there was no prasad to partake of. When the meal was served, he asked servant cook who told him that there was no offering made that morning and that he had completely forgotten to perform that part of the puja. At this, he left his seat and prostrated before the shrine, expressed his regret at the same time, chiding Baba for the want of guidance in making the whole affair a matter of mere joy. Then he wrote a letter to his son, stating the fact and requested him to lay it at Baba's feet and ask for his pardon for his neglect. This happened in Bandra at about Tuesday noon. At about the same time, when the noon arti was about to commence in Shirdi, Baba said to Mrs. Sarkar, Mother, I have been to your house in Bandra with a view to have something to eat. I found the door locked. I somehow got an entry and found to my regret that Bahu, Mr. Sarkar, had left nothing to eat for me. So I returned with my hunger unappeased. The lady did not understand this, but the son, who was close by, understood the whole thing, that there was something wrong with the puja in Bandra, and he therefore requested Baba to permit him to go home. Baba refused this, but allowed him to perform the puja there. Then the son wrote a letter to his father stating all that took place at Shirdi and implored his father not to neglect the puja at home. Both these letters crossed each other and were delivered to the respective parties the next day. Is this not wonderful? Mrs. Sarkar. Let us now take up the case of Mrs. Sarkar herself. She offered three things: curry, which is roasted brinjal mixed with curd and spice; acharya, circular pieces of brinjal fried in ghee; and peda, which is two meatballs. Let us see how Baba accepted these. Once Mr. Raghuveer of Bandra, a great devotee of Baba, started for Shirdi with his family. Mrs. Sarkar went to Mrs. Purandera and asked and gave her two brinjals and requested her to prepare curry of one brinjal, kacharya of the other. When she went to Shirdi and served Baba with them. After reaching Shirdi, Ms. Purandera went with her with a dish of curry to the masjid. When Baba was sitting for meal, Baba found the curry very tasty. So he distributed it to all and said that he wanted acharya now. A word was sent to Radha Krishna's mind that Baba wanted acharya. She was in a fit, so that there was no season for brinjal. How to get brinjal was the question. When the inquiry was made as to who brought the curry, it was found that Ms. Purandari was entrusted with the duty of serving the kacharya. Everybody then came to know the significance of Baba's inquiry regarding the kacharya and was wonderstruck at Baba's all-pervasive knowledge. In December 1915, one Govind Balram Ankar wanted to go to Shirdi to perform the obsequies of his father. Before he left, he came to see Mr. Sarkar, and then Mrs. Sarkar wanted to send something with him to Baba. She searched the whole house but found nothing except a peda, which had already been offered as Navidya. The boy Govind was in mourning. Out of great devotion to Baba, she sent the peda with him, hoping that Baba would accept it and eat it. Govind went to Shirdi and saw Baba but forgot to take the peda with him. Baba simply waited. When again he went to Baba in the afternoon, he went empty-handed without the peda. Baba could wait no longer and did ask him straight, "What did you bring for me?" "Nothing," was the reply. Baba asked again. The same reply came forth. Then Baba asked him the question, "Did not the mother, Mr. Sarkar, give some sweetmeats to you for me at the time of your starting?" The boy remembered the whole thing. He felt abashed, asked Baba's pardon, ran to his lodging, brought the peda and gave it to Baba. As soon as Baba got it in his hand, he put it into his mouth and gulped it down. Thus, the devotion of Mr. Sarkar was recognized and accepted. As men believe in me, so do I accept them. Gita, verse 14, chapter 40, verse 11, was proved in this case. Baba fed sumptuous house. Once Mr. Sarkar was staying in a certain house in Shirdi. At noon, meals were ready and being served when a hungry dog turned up there and began to bark. Mrs. Sarkar got up at once and threw a piece of bread which the dog gulped with great relish. In the afternoon, when she went to the masjid and sat at some distance, Sai Baba said to her, "Mother, you have fed me sumptuously. My famished prajna, life forces, have been satisfied. Ever acted like this, and this will stand you in good stead. Sitting in this masjid, I shall never speak untruth. Take pity on me like this. First, give bread to the hungry, and then eat yourself. Note this well." She could not understand at first the meaning of what Baba said. So she replied, Baba, how could I feed you? I am myself dependent on others and take my food from them on payment. Then Baba replied, eating that lovely bread, I am heartily contented and I am still belching. The dog which you saw before meal and to which you gave a piece of bread is one with me. So also are other creatures. Cats, pigs, flies, cows, etc. are one with me. I am roaming in their form. He who sees me in his creatures is my beloved. So abandon the sense of duality and distinction and serve me as you did today. Drinking these nectar words, she was moved. Her eyes were brimmed with tears. Her throat was choked, and her joy knew no bounds. Moral: see God in all beings is the moral of this chapter. The Upanishads, the Gita, the Bhagavad, all exhort us to perceive God or divinity in all the creatures. By the instance given at the end of this chapter and other numerous to mention, Sai Baba has practically demonstrated to us how to put the Upanishadic teaching into practice. In this way, Sai Baba stands as the best exponent or teacher of the Upanishad doctrine. Bow to Shivji Sai and peace be to all. I will now commence with chapter 10. In chapter 10, Sai Baba's mode of life, his sleeping plank, his stay in Shivji, his teaching, his humility, Nanavali, the easiest path. Remember him always with love, for he was ever engrossed in doing good to all, and always abided in himself. To remember him only is to solve the riddle of life and death. This is the best and easiest of sadhana, as it involves no expenditure. A little exertion here brings great reward. So as long as our senses are sound, we should minute by minute practice the sadhana. All other gods are illusionist. Guru is the only God. If we believe in Satguru's holy feet, he can change our fortune for the better. If we serve him sincerely, we get rid of our worldly affliction. We need not study any philosophy like the Jnana and the Mamanasa. As we trust the helmsman in crossing rivers and seas, so we have to trust our Satguru in getting over the ocean of worldly existence. The Satguru looks to the intense feelings and devotion of his devotees, endows them with knowledge and eternal bliss. In the last chapter, Baba's Indian and devotees' experiences and other subjects are dealt with. Let the readers now read where and how Baba lived, how he slept, and how he thought. Baba's wonderful bedstead. Let us first see where and how Baba slept. Mr. Nana Sahib Bengal brought for Sai Baba a wooden plank about 4 arms in length and only a span in breadth for sleeping upon. Instead of keeping the plank on the floor and then sleeping on it, Baba tied it like a string to the rafters of the masjid with old shreds or rags and commenced to sleep on it. The rags were so thin and worn out that it was a wonder how they could bear or support the weight of the plank itself, let alone the weight of Baba. But somehow or the other, it was Baba's sheer leela that the worn out rags did sustain the plank along with the weight of Baba on it. On the 4 corners of the plank, Baba lit the panati, earthen lamp, one at each corner, and kept them burning the whole night. It was a sight for the gods to see Baba sitting or sleeping on the plank. It was a wonder to all how Baba got up and down the plank. Out of curiosity, many observers kept watching the process of mounting and dismounting, but none succeeded. As crowds began to swell so as to detect this wonderful feat, Baba one day broke the plank into pieces and threw it away. Baba had all the 8 Mahasiddhis as his command. Neither practiced nor craved for them. They came to him naturally as a result of his spiritual perfection. Manifestation of Brahma. Though Sai Baba looked like a man, 3 cubits and a half in length, he still dwelt in the heart of all. Inwardly, he was unattached and indifferent, but outward he longed for mass welfare. Through inwardly an abode of peace, he looked outwardly restless. Inwardly, he had the state of Brahma. Outwardly, he seemed engrossed in the world. Sometimes he looked on all with affection, and at times he threw stones at them. Sometimes he scolded them, while at times he embraced them and was calm, composed, tolerant, and well balanced. He was always abided and was engrossed in the south, was well disposed to his Bhakta. He always sat on one arsen and never traveled. His satka was a small stick, which he always carried in his hand. He was calm and thought-free. He never cared for wealth and fame and lived on alms. Such a life he led. He always uttered, Allah Malik. God is the real owner. Entire and unbroken was his love for the Bhakta. He was the mind or storehouse for the self-knowledge and full of divine blood. Such was the divine form of Sai Baba, boundless, endless, and undifferentiated. One principle which envelopes the whole universe, from a stone to Brahma, incarnated in Sai Baba. The real, notorious, and fortunate people got this treasure trove in their hands, while those people who, not knowing the real worth of Sai Baba, took him to be a mere human being, were indeed unfortunate. His stay in Shirdi and probable birthday. None knew or knows the parents and the exact date of birth of Sai, but it was approximately determined by his stay in Shirdi. Baba first came to Shirdi when he was a young lad of 16 and stayed there for 3 years. Then, all of a sudden, he disappeared for some time. After some time, he reappeared in the Nizam state near Aurangabad and again came to Shirdi for the marriage party of Chand Patel when he was about 20 years old. Thus, he stayed in Shirdi for an unbroken period of 60 years, after which Baba took the Mahasamadhi in the year 1918. From this, we can say that the year of Baba's birth is approximately 1838 AD. Baba's mission and advice. Saint Ramdas, 1608 to 1681, flourished in the 17th century and fulfilled to a great extent his mission of protecting cows and Brahmins against the Yavana. But within 2 centuries after him, the split between the two communities, Hindus and Mohammedans, widened up and Sai Baba came to bridge that gulf. His constant advice to all was to this effect: Ram, the god of Hindus, Rahim, the god of the Mohammedans, were one and the same. There were not the slightest difference between them. Why should the devotees fall out and quarrel among themselves? You ignorant folk, join hands and bring both the communities together. Act sanely, and thus you will gain your object of national unity. It is not good to dispute and argue. So don't argue. Don't emulate others. Always consider your interest and welfare. The Lord will protect you. Yoga, sacrifice, penance, and knowledge are the means to attain God. If you do not succeed by any means, in vain is your birth. If anyone does any evil unto you, do not retaliate. If you could do anything, do some good unto others. This, in short, was Sai Baba's advice to all, and this will stand up in good stead, both in material and spiritual matters. Sai Baba as Satguru. There are many so-called gurus who go about from house to house with symbols and veena in their hands and make a show of their spirituality. They blow mantras into the ears of their disciples and extract money from them. They profess to teach piety and religion to their disciples, but are themselves pious and irreligious. Sai Baba never thought of making the least show of his work. He had no body consciousness, but he had great love for his disciples. There are two kinds of gurus: Nyas, appointed or fixed, and Anya, unappointed generals. The latter, by their advice, develop the good qualities now, purify our hearts, and set us on the path of salvation. But contact with the former dispels our senses of duality and establishes us in the unity by making us realize, thou art that. There are various gurus imparting to us various kinds of worldly knowledge, but he who fixes us in the nature and carries us beyond the ocean of worldly existence is the Satguru. Sai Baba was such a Satguru. His greatness is indescribable. If anybody went to take his darshan, he, without being asked, would give every detail of his past, present, and future. He saw divinity in all beings, friends, and foes were alike to him. Disinterested and balanced, he obliged the evildoers as well as the pious. He was the same in prosperity and adversity. No doubt ever touched him. Though he acted through the body, he was not in the least attached to his body or house. Though he looked embodied, he was really unembodied, free from gross existence. Blessed are the people of Shirdi who worship Sai as their God, while eating, drinking, working in their backyards and fields, and doing various household work. They will also remember Sai and his glory. They knew no other God except Sai. What to speak of the sweetness of the love of the woman of Shiv? They were quite ignorant, but their pure love inspired them to compose poems or songs in their simple, rustic language. Letters of learning they had none. So, one can discern real poetry in their simple songs. It is not intelligence but love that inspires real poetry as such. Real poetry is a manifestation of true love, and this can be seen and appreciated by intelligent listeners. Collection of these folk songs is desirable, and by Baba's wish, some fortunate devotee may undertake the task of compiling and publishing these folk songs, either in the Sai Lila magazine or separately in a book. Baba's humility. Lord or Bhagwan is said to have 6 qualities: fame, wealth, non-attachment, knowledge, grandeur, and liberality. Baba had all these in him. He incarnated in flesh for the first state of Bhakta. Wonderful was his grace and kindness, for he drew the devotees to him. Or how else could one have known him? For the sake of his bhaktas, Baba spoke such words. the goddess of speech could not utter. Here is a specimen. Baba spoke very humbly as follows. Slave of slaves, I am your debtor. I am satisfied at your darshan. It is a great favor that I saw your feet. I am an insect in your etc. I consider myself blessed thereby. What humility is this? Though outwardly bound, Baba seemed to enjoy sense objects, he had not the least flavor in them, nor even the consciousness of enjoying them. Though he ate, he had no taste, and though he saw, he never felt any interest in what he saw. Regarding passion, he was as perfect celibate as Hanuman. He was not attached to anything. He was pure consciousness, the resting place of desire, anger, envy, and other feelings. In short, he was disinterested, free, and perfect. A striking instance may be cited in the illustration of the state. Nanavati. There was in Shirdi a very quiet and queer fellow by the name of Nanavati. He looked to Baba's work and affairs. He once approached Baba, who was seated on his seat, and asked him to get up, as he wanted to occupy the same. Baba at once got up and left the seat which he had occupied. After sitting there a while, Nanavati got up and asked Baba to resume. Then Baba sat down and Nanavati fell at his feet. Baba did not show the slightest displeasure in being dictated to or ousted. This Nanavati loved Baba so much that he breathed his last on the 13th day of Baba Mahasamadhi. The easiest part, hearing the stories of the saints and being in their company. Though Sai Baba acted outwardly like an ordinary man, his actions showed extraordinary wisdom and skill. Whatever he did was done for the good of his devotees. He never prescribed any asana, regulation of breathing, or rites to his Bhakta. Nor did he blow any mantra into their ears. He told them to leave off all cleverness and always remember Sai Sat. If you did that, he said, all your shackles will be removed and you would be free. Sitting through 5 fires, sacrifices, chanting, 8-fold yoga are possible for the Brahmins only. They are of no use to the other classes. The function of the mind is to think. It cannot remain without thinking for a minute. If you give it a sense object, it will think about it. If you give it a guru, it will think about guru. You have heard most attentively the grandeur of Sai. This is a natural remembrance of Sai. Hearing the story of the saints is not so difficult as other classes mentioned above. Stories remove all fear of this worldly existence and take you onto the spiritual path. So listen to these stories, meditate on them, and assimilate them. You may attend to your worldly duties, but give your mind to Sai and his stories, and then he is sure to bless you. This is the easiest path, but why do not all take it? The reason is that without God's grace, you do not get the desire to listen to the stories of saints. With God's grace, everything is smooth and easy. Hearing the stories of the saints is in a way keeping their company. The importance of the company of saints is very great. It removes our body consciousness, and egoism. Destroys completely the chain of birth and death. Cuts asunder all the knots of the mind and takes us to God, who is pure consciousness. He certainly increases our non-attachment to sense objects and makes us quite indifferent to pleasures and pain, and leads us onward on the spiritual path. If you have no other sadhana, such as uttering God's name, worship, or devotion, but if you take refuge in them, the same, wholeheartedly, they will carry you off safely across the ocean of worldly existence. It is for this reason that the saints manifest themselves in this world. Even sacred rivers such as the Ganges, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri, which wash away the sins of the world, desire that the saints should come to them, for bath and purify them. Such is the grandeur of the saints. It is on account of the store of merit passed by that we have attained the feet of Sai Baba. We conclude this chapter with meditation on Sai's form. He is a graceful and handsome Sai, standing on the edge of the Majid and distributing food to each and every Bhakta with a view to his welfare. He who thinks of the world as an illusion and who is ever engrossed in supreme bliss, before him we humbly prostrate ourselves. Bow to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Thank you for listening to these two chapters. We will continue tomorrow with the following two chapters. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tatvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prashodayat. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tatvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prashodayat. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tatvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prashodayat. Jai Mohan.